Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. This card community on YouTube is just awesome. So for today's video I have got multiple VRs that I need to get caught up on. Unfortunately I think one of them is late.
Well, better late than never.
But I still want to participate to show my support for his channel. And I've got a contest win that I had in Picker Jim's big contest.
I'm a winner! I'm a winner!
And I've also got a couple of gifts from people out there in the community.
You must really like me!
So stick around and let's see what I've got. Hello friends, I am John and I am the 3D 80s kid. For my first VR, and one that's too late for an official entry, I've got the channel White Sox Fan Collector. And Mitchell here has a great channel, lots of vintage cards, especially lately. It seems like he's really into the Diamond Star set, of which I got my first one recently right up there with Mr. Sam Rice. But he asked us to identify a Chase or Grail card. And well, I don't think I've really gotten anything yet that would really qualify as a Grail card for me in the hobby. The biggest chase I've actually had to this point was it turned into an obsession, and that would
it's become an obsession.
Be uncovering and collecting what would be viewed as the rookie card for each of the World War II leaders. It all started with this guy here, this 1901 Ogden Guinea Gold Winston Churchill card, and then it got in my head that I got this rookie card of one guy, and let's see what's out there for the others.
Well, you know how these things start.
And progressed into some being easier than others, as this 1927 Carreras was actually listed as the first card for Mussolini on his PSA registry, which I was a little surprised he had a registry, but that one was able to be purchased off eBay, so that wasn't too much of a challenge.
Easy peasy.
As far as then FDR, now this one, it was a case where it's a pretty low population, also listed in his registry, but I tried to find possibly a cheaper source, and that would be this listed as 1932, but actually issued in 1933, especially since he didn't actually get inaugurated for his first term until 1933, so he wouldn't have actually been president yet in 32. Is this, American Caramel card. And this one was listed as a buy it now or best offer for $250. And so I waited on this one to see if there was anything else out there. And once I got to the point of collecting everyone else, I just hadn't found any other source, and ultimately bit the bullet, sent in an offer for $200. The seller split the difference, and I accepted. So to this point, this is actually the most expensive card purchase I have made to date. So
Well, I felt I had no choice.
And once I figured out he had a whole bunch of 33 cards, it was just a matter of deciding which one I wanted, as a ton of them were listed on PWCC, and that would be for this guy who,
Yikes!
feels weird to own one. If you want the full explanation, check out my video. But funny thing I've heard now is that PWCC, since they were purchased by Fanatics, has pulled all of his cards from being listed for sale because he's deemed inappropriate. So too bad if you are a history collector on that front, but that's what has happened. One of the more challenging chases I had in this project was for this Joseph Stalin card, which is part of this 1937 set for famous escapes from prisons, dungeons, etc. I was able to only find cases with other cards in this set on eBay, and to this point, this card has never been graded by any company. The only one from that set that has is this one here, which is the Winston Churchill card in the set, card number 1. And why I have that Winston Churchill card is because I ended up having to buy the full set of that, as I found it from the London Cigarette Card Company in London, England.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Bought it directly off their website once I found them. for a cost that was barely more than what I had found for partial lots of this set, and I got the complete 50 card set. So don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of that one, but for now, this was my chase card out of that one, was the Joseph Stalin rookie card. So the most difficult chase in that series was for Hirohito, finding an actual card issued with him, as it did not seem to be a cultural thing for actually Japan to produce cards of their divine leaders. So there were some postcards made of him when he was crown prince, but I wanted something that was actually a trading card, which didn't exist in Japan, seemingly. At least I still have not found evidence of one to this point. Eventually, I came upon this card here, which is part of a 1945 issue from Spain. These ones are very rare, and especially in this condition, because this is one of those sets where the things are paper thin, and they actually came with an album that most people glued them into. So finding them existing and separate and this pretty is a rare find. But then, within a few weeks of that, I was led to one here that is actually 5 years older, from 1940. It was an Australian set, and so it was being sold by an Australian eBayer who did not normally ship to the US, so he wasn't coming up in my searches. And thankfully, I had done an interview with JP Wisco, Tony, and I ended up talking to him after the interview about the project I was working on, and he was kind enough to find this lead for me from an Australian seller. I contacted the seller directly, and they rearranged whatever settings they needed to actually process shipping it directly to me in the US. And for a grand total of $4.86 US, including shipping, I got a hold of this 1940 issue of Hirohito, which was absolutely the most elusive chase I found in this entire project. So putting together an order for SGC to go soon, and these ungraded ones from this chase are going to be headed that way. And once again, this is a population 0 card, just like the Spanish Hirohito one as well as that Stalin. So hopefully I can get all of those actually in a case soon. So
Tonight I look forward.
that completes that VR. Thanks, Mitchell.
Thanks, Mitchell.
For my next VR, I'm going to be looking at Scott from Stukes, Baseball Cards and Curiosities. He has asked us to talk about an autograph that we received.
Can we have your autograph, please?
Or, show it off. And to this point, I don't really have autographed cards, but I do have something I still would like to share. Support Scott, who's got a great channel, has an awesome collection of exhibit cards from all across years. Really awesome pictures.
Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out.
This program from 1984, San Francisco Giants, which is kind of cool. It actually shows pictures of the number retirements for Bill Terry, Juan Marichal, and my main guy in vintage, Mr. Willie Mays, getting their numbers retired.
Sweet.
So what I've got in here is the actual scorecard from that game. And using the information on that 8-3 Atlanta Brave victory over the Giants, I was a Braves fan at the time. Dale Murphy was my hero. I did determine that the game occurred on Tuesday, June 5th, 1984, 6 days before my 10th birthday was my first Major League Baseball game. Leading up to going to that game, I had 83 Donruss baseball cards that had been my first cards I'd ever collected. I was intending to bring my Braves cards to that game to try to get autographs, because we had intentionally gotten seats on the third base side with the away team to be fairly close to their dugout, so I could go up down to the front at the beginning and see if I could get autographs during batting practice. Unfortunately, my mom did not let me take my baseball card, saying, you're going to lose them.
Not going to lose them.
Which I'm still angry that she didn't let me take them at the time, because I would have been able to get something kind of cool. So Dale Murphy was walking around the outside. Everybody was shouting for Dale Murphy. He'd come off of back-to-back MVP seasons. He was the draw that people were coming to see if they went to this game. The Giants were last place team. The Braves, the year before, I think, were second place, and the year before that, they won the division. And Dale Murphy was the draw. He never actually came close enough to even hear me calling for him. So what I ended up doing is I was a super shy kid. I was to the point where I could barely speak to adults. So it even surprises me to this day that I did this. But I was fairly close to the Braves dugout where I was positioned. I reached down and I could see Glenn Hubbard sitting on the bench. I played second base in Little League, so Glenn Hubbard was my second favorite player at that time. And I still can't believe it that I leaned over that railing and I shouted at the top of my lungs, "Hubbard!" He perked right up. He looked right at me, and then he came over and greeted me. He was a great guy, really friendly. Asked me a few questions. I don't remember the conversation that well, but he ended up signing his name to the roster sheet in my program. This was Glenn Hubbard. And while he was standing there, another guy was walking past, and Glenn just said, "Hey, why don't you come over here?" And he ended up signing my program as well. And that would have been right here, Randy Johnson, not the one that's famous. This would be Randy Johnson, the utility player who bounced around for a few teams, did not have that long of a career. If I'd have brought my cards with me, I would not have had him because on 83 Donruss, he was on the Minnesota Twins. So to this day, I still feel a little bitterness that I wasn't able to get my actual 83 Donruss Glenn Hubbard signed, but I still have this keepsake, and it's a memory I always have of my encounter with Mr. Glenn Hubbard.
Oh, I hope the memories survive.
Thanks, Scott, and for putting on this contest.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
So for my last VR of the video, it's going to be for Dylan, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, Double Shaka, and he has asked us to show cards that go together. And we go together like for this one, I have also the opportunity to show off a couple of new pre-war editions. For these, both these cards, I have the extra memory associated with them, as then I picked them up they were both auction wins from Hoodies Collectibles, which is a big eBay consignor that happens to be local to this area. And I had the good fortune to meet up with my friend Adam over at Vintage Sanctuary to pick up these cards and try to convince him even more to follow me down the pre-war path. But
you want to.
Also happens to be Dylan's roommate at the National. So, my cards that go together, then I'm going to start out by showing one that I have recently shown as a pickup, though, and that would be this 1939 play ball Vernon Lefty Gomez in an SGC 2.5, and the cards that go with that one, what do I have here? I have the other two guys that would be considered the top three left-handed pitchers of the live ball era. We're talking 1920 to then World War II here, and those other two guys would be Carl Hubble, that I got here in a 1933 Gouty, which was bargain price due to that authentic minimum size, but just a beautiful card. Love the orange-yellow background there, and love how lots of his cards have that whole leg kick motion of his on full display. So love this edition. That's going to go up on my wall. And my last entry then for the cards that go together would be considered the very best of the lefties of that live ball era, and that would be Mr. Robert Lefty Grove here in a nicely priced one, thanks to just this one little interesting circle thing mark that appears on the front of the card, which otherwise looks very nice, but thankfully gets that down to a 1 to make it far more affordable in this 1934 Gouty card, my first of the 34 Gouty set. And very nice back on this. So, I don't have one of those display setups yet, set up for a desktop of running these cards all together. But here very shortly, you'll be seeing these guys up here on my wall. I like to sort all these Hall of Famer cards out chronologically is what I obsessively do. And any cards that are in the same set of my display, I end up sorting them by number order within the set. I can't help but organize them that way. It's part of how I'm built. So, but thanks, Dylan, for putting this out in the community. Double shaka, and thank you, sir.
Sir? Thank you, Dylan.
So my first care package from the community was from Orlando at A Collector's Dream. And he wrote me a letter here. It says, "Hi, John. Saw this magazine with Maze and had to send it to you. Just happens to be an issue that they did a story on me and my 1888 set. Appreciate your friendship. Thanks again, Orlando." Thank you, Orlando. This was awesome. He sent me this sports market report from PSA magazine. So with this awesome Maze cover.
Say hey, Willie Mays.
And it just so happens that on page 105 of this is an awesome article about some cards, if you watch Orlando's channel, that you're probably familiar with. And that's this collecting the 1888 Goodwin Champion set. And Orlando is all over this article. I'm not sure if these are actually his cards they've taken pictures of or not, but it's a great article talking about the set with lots of quotes in here from Orlando, and it's really cool. So thank you very much for sending this, Orlando. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
My next care package was from George, Concrete Buddy. Sent me a letter here. John, I noticed in your World War II video that you mentioned Hindenburg. That was the president that died in 1934, and where then upon which Hitler just completely took control of the entire country. But you did not show a plain days card of him. We cannot have that. Enjoy the Hindenburg card. It may not be his rookie card, but rookie cards are overrated anyway. Happy birthday from George, aka Concrete Buddy. That was super awesome of you to do that. And he sent me this really cool German-issued card here. I haven't run the Google Translate on the back yet to read all of exactly what it says, but I will do that soon. So, but thank you very much, George. If you haven't seen it, he was the big winner of Picker Jim's recent VR, and you've got to watch the video of him unboxing the big prize of all the different cards from the community. It's one of the greatest things I have seen in our entire community the last few weeks. How excited George is opening that is just, it's a joy to watch.
Sweet, infectious enthusiasm.
So take a peek at George Concrete Buddy's channel and check that out. So thanks again, George.
Thank you, George.
And this community just continues to be awesome as I got a care package from Dave over at Legends of the Dugout. Be sure to check out his channel. He's got some great stuff. He sent me a birthday care package with my recent birthday and started out with a card, birthday to-do list, number 1, tear up to-do list. So awesome. And have a happy, carefree day. Happy birthday, John. Hope you had a wonderful day filled with love and joy and cards. Your friend Dave, Legend of the Dugout. Thanks, Dave. And let's see what we got here. So in a big folder, oh, that is awesome. We've got this fan magazine, which says it is from Atlanta Braves official program from, what was that, 1985? Awesome. With Mr. Dale Murphy there, my childhood hero. I'll have to take a look at this magazine later. So thank you for that, Dave.
God. I love it. It is simply awesome.
And what do we got here all sandwiched up? Let's get this open. All right. Oh, we got some cards in here. Okay, we've got a 1978 Gaylord Perry with the Texas Rangers. I recently showed, got a 72 that I was planning on getting graded for my wall. But this is an awesome one. He played on so many different teams, which is kind of why he gets kind of overshadowed, I think, a bit, because he played for so many different teams. There's not really a fan base that solidly supports him. And we got some Dale Murphy. Some of the cards I don't have. Donruss 1992 on this one with the Phillies. Because as I showed previously, my childhood Dale Murphy collection stopped once he got traded away from my beloved Atlanta Braves. I was a little bitter They traded him, and I just didn't want to see him in another uniform, and so I didn't collect his cards. I got every regular major release card of him in a Braves uniform already, but not a single one from his Phillies or Rockies stint. Of which then that next card is a Fleer Ultra. What is that? 93 or 4? 93, I think. Fleer Ultra with the Rockies. Dale Murphy. I've got a Top Stadium Club from, I can't tell exactly. 92 stats. So what is that, 93 then? Dale Murphy. Oh, this card looks familiar. Keith Hernandez and Dale Murphy from the 88 Fleer set. I've got a Leaf card. Is this the 91 Leaf? Yes, with the Phillies there. I mean, at least he's got a great smile on that one, so that one's awesome. This Topps card from 93 Topps. There we go. Mr. Murphy sitting in the dugout, which, his later years, he probably did a lot more of that than he did previously. And then 91 Donruss with the Phillies. Oh, we've got an 89 Topps with the Braves. Then another Leaf card. What is this? A 92 Leaf, Dale Murphy. And this looks like 92 Topps because familiar at least with the basketball card design, which is identical. So there we go. Oh, an 84 All-Star card of Dale Murphy, as well as the regular 84 Topps. 83 Topps. That looks like the 86 Sportflix. Yes, 86 Sportflix. With Dale Murphy there. And look at that, a Lance Parrish rookie. What are you doing? Give me your Lance Parrish rookie, Dave.
Just what do you think you're doing, Dave?
I thought he was one of your guys. Yeah, Dale Murphy second-year card from the 1978 Topps. So thank you very much, Dave. This is super generous. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Your channel's awesome. Everybody go check out Legends of the Dugout.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Last but certainly not least is my contest win from Picker Jim S.'s VR contest with the community. I ended up winning the prize of 25 cards. And let's go take a look at what we've got here. We've got the 1969 Milton Bradley Bill Mazeroski. Obviously, they didn't have the Major League license since he's got the blank hat there. This one is a 1970 scratch-off of Willie Stargell from Topps. It's like a little game. It's a one-time play game because you scratch off the little indicators and you keep score of which one what you unscratched. But that one's cool. We've got a Vita Blue rookie from 1970. Well, of course, also a Gene Tennis, who wasn't too bad of a player himself. But Vita Blue, kind of a borderline Hall of Fame candidate, had a really spectacular MVP Cy Young season. But that one's awesome. And look at that, a 1969 World Series card for Mr. Jerry Koosman. Shout out to Darren Return to Collecting. He's got the nicest Jerry Koosman rookie card I've ever seen. Up next, 69 National League strikeout leaders, 2 Hall of Famers on there with Fergie Jenkins and Bob Gibson. That one's sweet. We got a 1971 Willie McCovey with those really tough black borders. But once again, those are nice looking cards, especially when the team's got black of their colors like the Giants do. Little white on the lie on this one, but that's all good. That's to be expected. Nice Willie McCovey card. And a Willie Mays card I did not yet have from 1974 Topps. Him in the World Series card. Unfortunately, the only card he appeared on in that set. His final, what would be Playing Days Topps card. I don't understand why they didn't produce a last card of him, with the actual base cards, but they didn't. So you don't have a card with his final stats. This is the best you can do with his last card ever. So, but that's awesome. I got this one now. A 1975 SSPC Tony Perez. Those are nice pictures. It reminds me of the Circle K cards a bit with the style of them. But 1976 Topps Joe Morgan, the guy that really made the Red Machine go, 2-time MVP. I feel like he's super underrated in the hobby. Far and away, with those advanced metrics, does he blow away the competition for post-war second baseman. So Joe Morgan, 76 Topps. I guess this one would be 77 since it's the 1976 playoffs with Pete Rose there running the bases as the Reds sweep the Phillies in the NLCS on their way to one of their World Series titles. Look for that. 1978 marquee guy there would be Lou Whitaker. Should be a Hall of Famer. He's got the numbers. I mean, he should have gone in there with his, with Alan Trammell. That's what it really should have been. Those guys spent so many years together, and he was such a productive guy for the second base position. It's criminal that he has not gotten any Hall of Fame love. So Lou Whitaker, rookie. And look at that. I had my video that got super popular saying I'm avoiding vintage Hall of Famers, and here we go. I ended up with my first ever vintage Hall of Famer card, technically. And, I start out clearly with the best, with my Jack Morris rookie. Shout out to Junk Wax Hero. I know how much he loves this card. So there we go. My first ever vintage Hall of Famer. Thanks, Jim. 1978, we got a Jim Catfish Hunter card with him on the Yankees at that point. It's a nice action card of him. Jim Rice, Red Sox, nice smile on this one. Clearly someone just told a funny joke there. 1979 Topps. And now into 1980 Topps. We got a guy who gets so overshadowed by Nolan Ryan, but he had a better prime, was spectacular left-handed pitcher. He's in the top 5 of lefties all time. Mr. Steve Carlton there, 1980 Topps. Oh, Picker Jim is a favorite guy there. Yastrzemski with the 1980 Topps card. And then a Hall of Fame catcher with the Cardinals, Ted Simmons. My cards of him would have been with the Brewers there when they made the World Series and faced the Cardinals in '82. So, Reggie Jackson with one of his big homer type swings, or maybe strikeout swing. They both look the same. 80 Topps Yankees card. And Johnny Bench. Shout out Chris from Missouri. Favorite guy there, Mr. Johnny Bench. In the argument for greatest catcher of all time. Of course, us 80s kids know him as the star of the baseball bunch. 81, we got Tom Seaver, another guy with a spectacular peak and a great career that was probably by all measurements better than Nolan Ryan, but gets overshadowed by Mr. Ryan as far as the hobby goes. 81 Topps card. 1980 stolen base leaders, Ricky Henderson and Ron LaFleur. So that's clearly an 81 card from his second year, which is that the 130 steals? No, this is 100. I think he got 130 the next year. So Ricky Henderson. Dave Stewart rookie card from 1982 Topps. He had such a great time with the Oakland Athletics, driving that team to the playoffs as their ace pitcher. Such an intimidating presence on the mound. Great pitcher. So Dave Stewart. Dave Winfield had a great Hall of Fame career, an amazing athlete, such a big guy, and he was so fast and strong and great throwing arm, great hitter. Really long career too. I mean, he's a guy who could potentially have been a basketball NBA player as well, but opted for baseball. So another Hall of Famer for rookie card, I believe, with Lee Smith from 82 Topps. Nice. And the final card of the 25, a Bo Jackson 1990 Leaf card. What a what-if story there with Bo Jackson. So that was awesome. Thank you so much, Picker Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks to everyone in this video. We had Dylan, Double D Vintage, Mitchell, White Sox fan collector. We had Scott, Stukes Baseball Cards and Curiosities. We had Dave, Legends of the Dugout. We had Orlando, Collector's Dream. Had George, Concrete Buddy. The community is awesome. The community is thriving, and I love being a part of it. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and I will see you next time.
Okay, kids. See you next time.